The secretary, so the way this is working, we think. So my family is on Zoom, and then Secretary McCarthy is on something else, their own another platform. So hopefully they will be able to see the secretary as we get sworn in. There's 3 of us throughout the country who are going to be sworn in today as CASAs. So at 1:30, we have to be quiet because the secretary is going to do this thing. And just so you know, Army is in control. And so we're going to let him, he's going to talk 5 or 10 minutes. Then we're going to have the swearing-in ceremony. And after that, so that's probably be about 10 or 15 minutes. And after that, retired Colonel Mark, El Presidente of our local AUSA, who represents Fort Rucker, will come on up and talk a little bit. We're going to have a toast, non-alcohol. Sorry, Schmitz's, no alcohol. And so thank you for being here. We had to keep it small. You know me, that's not what I do. But thank you for being here. So at this point, I don't know if you could see the screen, but I don't know how we're going to do this. I can't walk over there. So the guy with the beard is Bill and Deb Schmitz. Bill is our older brother. He joined the Army out of high school. He served in Vietnam. He and Deb worked and retired from the Wisconsin prison system. We always say we knew Bill would end up in jail, but we're glad he ended up with a retirement. So he was Santa Claus for a long time. So the lower right is my brother Jim. He retired from the Navy. Bill said that doesn't count, but I think it does. He was, what rank were you, Jim?
E9 Master Chief.
Yeah, so he believed he ran the Navy. I don't know if that's true or not, but he had all these stripes. And then we're going to go to the left corner. That's my brother Rob. He served in the Navy 10 years. He's still in the Navy Reserves and serves. And next to him is Robbie. He's serving, is it the Army Reserve?
Army National Guard.
Army National Guard. He's in Ukraine serving right now. His sister is the first woman officer, Ariana, and she's always been a superwoman ever since she was 4 years old. And so it's the first officer we've had, because we're all enlisted people, and so we're proud of her, and she's working right now. And so, and then, let's see, left corner is my sister Jan. She lives in Pittsburgh with her handsome husband Dave. When she married him, we married up. And so we're proud of that. I love my family. My sister Mary will join us, and she works in Beloit, Wisconsin. And the women of our family are always the most successful. And the rest of us have worked at it. But, you know, our dad, Eddie Schmitz, served in World War II. Sorry, guys.
You are.
But I'm proud to be a Schmitz. Huh? Okay, so we're starting. What do we do? Oh. Oh. So is it going to show on the screen? Oh. That's right.
You got to turn it on.
All right, Bill. I know you're used to running things. Just relax. I don't know. Do we have to do anything, team, or we just wait for them to get in? know as soon as the secretary gets here.
Oh, absolutely. Hello, all Schmitzes. Can you see me?
We sure can.
I'll tell you what. I did not realize your dad was a World War II veteran, and all of you. And yes, Command Master Chiefs do run the Navy, Jim. Absolutely. Now, I'm an Army guy. I spent a lot of time on Navy ships and Special Operations Aviation, and in Ukraine. Robbie, thank you for your service, sir. Thank you very much. So anyway, I'm Mark Jones, and this is an absolutely great day for our nation, our Army, our soldiers, families, retirees, and veterans. Mike Schmitz is absolutely the right leader to be our civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army for Alabama South. Secretary of the Army Ron McCarthy, who you all will see in a minute, made the right decision. And I personally could not be more thrilled, not only for Mike, but for Fort Rucker, all Army equities across South Alabama, and for us all. We have 2 CASAs in the state of Alabama, Dr. Fitzgerald up north in Huntsville, and our very own Mike Schmitz here in Dothan. Folks, this is a big deal. And although some of you may have no idea what a CASA is, and yes, it is pronounced CASA, not CASA. A CASA is a house in Spain, and Mike isn't a house in Spain. You may have a house in Spain, but he's not one. So please say it the right way. Still looking.
Mike, we still can't hear you. There he comes. Mike Schmitz, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Do you want to go ahead and get this number and...
Ready in the Bible.
Yeah, I thought so.
Eddie, you're muted.
Hi everyone. Sorry, it looks like we lost Mike Schmitz, so we're going to try to get him back.
Hey Angie, this is Albino.
Hi, Alvino.
Are they going to disconnect the conference room?
Yes, yeah, he's going to go down and do that because we were able to connect directly from the secretary's office.
Okay, thank you.
Do you want to go ahead and go do that so he can check? No, just calling. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, looks like someone's trying to connect. There we go. Mike, can you hear me?
I can.
There it is.
Mike, we see you, but we can't hear you.
I think it's still muted, right?
Oh, there you go. We hear you, sir.
Hello, everybody.
Okay. Hi. Hello. You want to come?
How's everybody doing? We're 6 feet apart wherever you are. You can't be too close to me. We'll sit over here, sir.
We'll put you right here.
We'll put Kathy at the table.
And then you're right here, sir. Okay.
I see all your smiling, happy faces. This looks great.
Sir, how are you?
How do you hear us?
We
I
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you. Yep, it's good.
So I guess it's tougher in this environment because you almost have to go one at a time. But first and foremost, on behalf of the Army, we're very grateful for your willingness to do this and for your families to support you. Our CASA program is incredibly unique. We're the only service that's done it. We've done it for 98 years. So it's got quite a history. And it's that much will be asked of you to help us, and obviously during this environment, it's even more necessary than ever to have men and women out there representing us throughout the country to help us communicate who we are, what we do, but also to connect us and be a mechanism to help us recruit young men and women and to help really translate all of the wonderful things that we do around the world to people at home. At no time like the present when we have had literally over 50,000 soldiers deployed all around the United States in response to the COVID pandemic. They're building hospitals. We're augmenting hospital staff in hospitals in all of our major cities and distributing food, helping at nursing homes. And if that wasn't enough, the Army is central to the vaccine development. And General Gus Pern, Army Materiel Command, was knighted by the President to lead Operation Warp Speed, which will scale vaccines across the entire United States over the next 6 to 8 months. So it's the greatest team on earth, and we're going to get a little bit stronger here in a minute because your willingness to come back and join the formation. So thank you.
Cassis, do you want to introduce yourself and say who's in your room? Mary Jane, let's start with you.
Sure. Hi, sir. I'm Mary Jane Jordan. Excuse me, I'm excited. I'm from Maryland, and hi, Charleston. And I had my daughter was with me, Rachel Beaver, and then second grade, and Command Sergeant Major Rodney Rhodes. And so they're over here cheering me on and encouraging me. And I'm getting a little choked up. I'm all excited though.
That's great. You got the Army seal on the wall. I love it.
Well, I did some people, okay? So.
Great.
That's great.
Stan?
Good afternoon. I'm Stan Soderstrom. I'm in Indianapolis. I really pretty much soloed it. I have a couple of employees that helped me get up here. But I'm going to note that I'm standing in front of a Penn-Station flag. It was sewn in an attic of a house in Bastogne, Belgium, 1944. To us, the woman who sewed that knew that the Army would liberate her at some point. Put that flag together because the Army showed up.
Stan, I was looking at your bio. You were the 173rd in Vietnam?
What's that, sir?
You were the 173rd back in the 60s?
No.
Stan.
No? Wasn't in his bio? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I saw that in your bio. Mike, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, the names are either confusing the heck out of me. Mike's too. That's Mike. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Stan.
That's all right.
This screens, the Zoom screen, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the screens and underneath them I'm reading the wrong names and the wrong people. Fortunately, Mary Jane's is right, but backwards for you guys. I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed. Sorry. Welcome to this environment, right?
Yes.
Anyway, sorry, Stan. No, but thank you. It's great to meet you.
And Mike, do you want to introduce yourself?
I will. Hello, Mr. Secretary. I'm Mike Schmitz from the great city of Dothan, Alabama. And I'm blessed to have a lot of friends here. And we have Mayor Saliba from the great city of Dothan, and Mayor Bob Button, retired colonel from the Army, Mayor of the great city of Ozark, and many VIPs to be here, and we're just proud to be here, sir. And my family, they're Zooming, and they're sort of watching.
Yeah.
All over the country.
Well, I have to tell you, my mother was born in Enterprise, Alabama, when my grandfather got wounded in World War II, and he came home, and his job was to be was working at Fort Rucker, and he was guarding German prisoners because he was wounded. And then my grandmother moved down from Chicago, and they lived down there for, I think it was 2 years at the end of the war, and my mother was born in Enterprise. Although she spent the next 76 years in Chicago. That's her first 2 years of her life, that's right. So I always say, you're born and bred in Alabama.
Well, if you don't treat us right, I'm calling your mom. Sir.
You got the key to the back door for sure. Well, look, I love the enthusiasm. You all look fired up, and I'm glad you're able to have family members to join you for this. I spoke earlier today and did a question and answer period for 2 hours with the graduating class of the Army War College. 379 really high octane, very seasoned officers, 05, 06, lieutenant colonels, full colonels that are graduating. And what's great is how everybody was fired up, and they're not letting this bring them down. Yeah, we're doing it on Zoom, and we had to do it virtually, but you can feel the spirit in everybody, and I feel it with all of you. So thank you for doing this. You're bringing me up. You're bringing, the Pentagon, we have long weeks. We're gearing up for another budget fight internally and dealing with Congress. So these are the kind of things that make me feel good. They bring me up. So thank you.
Yes, sir. You're
I think we're going to meet. Oh, sorry, Mary Jane?
I was just going to say, I know you're invited to Aberdeen Proving Ground and, of course, any place in Maryland. I'd be happy to host you.
Well, don't you worry. You're going to get invited every time I go there. Don't worry about that. You're not going to have to invite me.
Okay,
You're going to get an email or a phone call and say, meet him at this patch of grass because there's a helicopter inbound. You're going to get to work and be good. No, look, you're representing some crown jewels in the formation. Aberdeen Proving Ground, Army's Medical Research and Development Command up there at Fort Detrick. I mean, these are, if you think about just Aberdeen, over 70% of the Army's research work is being done there, or driven or managed out of there. It's the brains of the Army. Fort Detrick, where MRDC, our Medical Research and Development Command, which I mentioned briefly in the opening remarks, these folks were instrumental in working with the private sector to find the vaccines for Ebola and Zika. They're going to crack the code on this COVID-19, and millions of Americans are going to get stuck in the arm this fall, and we're going to turn the page on this part of our history. And it's because of all those soldiers up there. And you drive by those installations 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the parking lot is full. Mm-hmm. Our folks are playing to win, and it's inspiring. And you got to represent them. You got to be up there to help us and help them. So we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Secretary,
Yeah.
Mike Schmitz.
Well, with that,
Angie's tugging at me. I'll sit here and talk all day to you guys.
no, we want to go ahead and.
We want to invite you to Alabama.
You, Senator Shelby, I'm down there all the time.
Okay, good.
No, I do need to get down there. We got to get General McConville, who spent a little bit of time in his life in Fort Rucker over the years, the senior aviator of the Army. But we, Huntsville is an incredibly important aspect of all of our materiel command and all of our missile defense capabilities. Between the three of you representing some really key parts of the organization. Indiana in particular, all of the depot work, got a great National Guard unit out of Indiana. I'm a Midwest kid, so I'm used to spending time going through Indiana, growing up in Chicago. So these are great areas of the country, and we're lucky to have you. When you saw that you came up for these positions, you're all selected unanimously, highly recommended. We're excited for you and for our future with you.
Thank you, sir.
Very
Great.
good.
And with that, we're going to make it official. So, Alvina, you can start recording. And the Secretary, if you would make some brief remarks, it'll be on the recording. And I will read the biographical information, and then we will, you can do we'll administer the oath of office. Alvina, we will go official now.
Okay, so for all the folks on Zoom, I have several great Americans with me. Lieutenant General Les Smith, the Inspector General of the U.S. Army, which has a very extraordinary history. A guy named Alexander Hamilton is a former Inspector General of the U.S. Army, so an extremely important position and a great guy to lead that. Kathy Miller, the Administrative Assistant to the Secretary of the Army. This is a person that basically is the running the trains, keeping the trains on time for this entire monster we call the U.S. Army, and two people that are critical leaders that drive this enterprise every single day because we don't ever stop working and the sun never sets on the U.S. Army. And of course, Miss Angie Ritz, who is the heart and soul of the CASA program and somebody that this would not happen without. So I'm blessed to have the three of them here with me and excited about the three of you that joined the formation. Like we discussed in the office call, the U.S. Army is the only organization, entire Department of Defense, that has a program like this. Since 1922, we've had just over 500 Americans that have been selected for this program, and they're the ambassadors of the U.S. Army domestically, how they represent us here in the United States and in the territories, because especially as an all-volunteer organization, it's critical to have people represent us in these communities to communicate with civic leaders and the American people, the taxpayers, the men and women that we serve and we vow to protect. So having all of you there helps us with explaining why do you need a $178 billion budget, why a future in this institution is great for a young man or woman to reach their potential, to develop skills, access to education, all of the great things that can come out of a life of service, along with providing a service not only to the nation and the world, because we are that beacon of hope around the world, the United States of America. We get excited about these opportunities because bringing 3 men and women like yourselves into the formation only makes us stronger. So it's a great day for the Army to have you, and it's a great time because as we face a global pandemic with over 50,000 servicemen and women deployed here in the continental United States, we still got over 150,000 overseas. We're in our 20th year of sustained combat operations in the Middle East, fighting counter-violent and extremist organizations and trying to bring stability to a troubled region, deterring threats in Europe, East Asia, South America, Africa. Without the United States Army, there is no stability in the world. So it's a tremendous responsibility that the 3 of you are willing to take on. Because at the end of the day, who we are and what we do is we vow ourselves to protect an idea, to defend the Constitution of the United States of America. Not a person or a thing, but an idea that everybody's equal and everybody can reach their potential. That everybody's going to get a fair shake. And that's what makes it so special. What makes the men and women that do this for a living, our uniformed personnel, our civil servants, why they are the best in the world, why they're most admired in the world. It's the most admired brand in the world. So as you can tell, we're very proud of that. We're very protective of that. And everybody that comes into this formation has to raise their right hand and commit to it. So, unless you're not, I think Mary Jane, you're sitting, I need you to be on your feet here. And I want you to raise your right hand and repeat after me, recognizing there might be a little bit of a delay here. We're going to take the oath, and I'll actually give you a copy of the oath.
Okay.
Because it's something that over my time in uniform, and also as a political appointee, I've taken this oath many times. It's actually, I've taken it 8 times, probably for the last time, this most recently. But I've taken it that many times in my life. And I have a copy of it actually on my desk. The most recent version, my wife actually framed in Secretary Mattis when he sworn me to be the Undersecretary of the Army, and I had it sit on my desk. And every night I got to read at my desk, and I'm on the phone, and because it's the show that never ends. But right before I turn off that light, I read the oath every night before I go to bed. So that when I wake up, I know what I'm supposed to do. It's the foundation of who we are. So, I'll send you a copy of that, so you can have one at your desk, or wherever you want to have it at home. But if you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name. Having been appointed a civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army.
Having been appointed as civilian aide of the Secretary of the Army.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly
Swear.
To support and defend.
To support and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies.
Against all enemies.
Foreign and domestic.
Foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
Bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take
freely,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
without any
With-
reservation or
purpose of invasion.
And that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well
I will
discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
discharge the duties of the office of
enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
It's tough on Zoom, I get it. I tried to go slow. Okay, Mary Jane, over the floor is yours.
Sir, I just want to thank you so much for the opportunity to serve our nation in this manner. And I just want to thank you for your belief in me, and I promise I won't let you down.
That's great, thank you. Stan?
Yes, thank you. I'm excited. I want to fulfill the long legacy of and the tradition that goes with the U.S. Army in developing leadership among its young adults, in supporting the families and the soldiers who serve, and in supporting the veterans and the soldiers for life. And I look forward to working with this team.
Thank you. Mike?
Well, Mr. Secretary, you've now just inducted the 3 greatest CASAs that ever be in the history of America. I am proud, honored, privileged, and I'm ready to go to work, so let's go, go, go.
That's great. And hey, thank you to all your families for supporting you and being there with you today. We're a family business in the U.S. Army. We take care of each other because we are all family. And when you commit yourself to a mission as tough as this, you rely on everybody like a brother or sister. So it's great that you're there with your families and your friends. I'm sorry I can't see you personally, but we have CASA conferences and we travel all the time. So I'm going to see all of you very soon. So wish you all the best. I know you'll be thinking about all of our men and women, especially those that have given themselves the ultimate sacrifice here on Memorial Day weekend, because it is as incredibly important of a holiday as they come. And I'm heading out to Arlington tonight. We're going to put flags in. We put American flags in front of every tombstone at the Arlington Cemetery, so I'll be there most of the evening. Got a lot of friends that I care deeply about that are in that ground. So thank you all, and I wish you all the best this Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you all.
I forgot to introduce some people important to me. Zoe and Zane, come on down. Come on, I know you don't want to. So, my brother Steve and I were adopted into 2 different families, and their father was my brother Steve Schaefer. He served in the Navy, and we are blessed to get to love his kids. He's passed away a couple of years ago, and Zane works with our company, and it's a privilege to get to know them, and we love them very much. I also have, where's Dave? I saw Dave C. Hi Dave, come on up. I want to introduce, this is a VIP. Dave is Alabama president of AUSA. He's a retired colonel. Awesome, awesome young man. We're going to work really hard together with Colonel Mark. Where's Colonel Mark? Come on up.
Jones is my last.
Jones. I can't call you Mark?
Yes, you can. Sir, you're a 3-star general now. You're covered.
If you would just like to close it out, and then we'll have, can I get it?
We're not supposed to do this. Don't film it.
Can I get a glass? Thank you.
You heard the secretary talk about the importance of this position and what it is, and that was what Mike asked me to do on Monday, so I'm not going to do that again. Bottom line, it is business leaders, folks of industry, those that are in the communities across the United States in 4 territories that have Army equities within them. We have more than 4 territories, but not all of them have Army personnel there. Our current Chief of Staff of the Army is Jimmy McConnell. I can call him that because we were lieutenant colonels together, and I guess I didn't do as well as he did. But his number 1 priority is people. And I could not find a better person on this planet to take care of our soldiers, their families, our retirees, our veterans, than Mike Schmitz. Because although Mike served in the Air Force as an enlisted person, you are now a 3-star equivalent, my friend. Now that's probably only good if he goes to a military event, but anyway, it's awesome. But Mike is not like that, and we all know that. He cares about people, first and foremost. So there was nobody else that should have this position than Mike Schmitz. And he came to me, he's been around AUSA, Association of United States Army. We're about 200 strong now, 200,000 strong now. And a lot of that is a result of the work he does as the Vice President for membership of the chapter, of which I'm the president. And I'm very humbled to be here today to talk to you about this. But I will tell you this, the work that he will do, unpaid by the way, complete volunteer,
Yeah, so Paul, go.
to ensure that we take care of our people. You heard Secretary McCarthy talk about that. It is people. We have unbelievable machines, and we can produce those like you would not believe. But when you find people that want to serve this great country, we've got to take care of them. And when they are done serving this great country, we have to take care of them even more. I am passionate about that, and I think it's something that I know that our new Civilian Aide Secretary of the Army for Alabama South will do. And I will probably get a whole lot more phone calls from him now than I did before as the VP for membership of this chapter. I want to tell you something that this started in 1922. It's a grassroots effort. We're the only service that has it. Yes, Master Chief, we're the only service that has it, where you have civilian aides to the Secretary of the Army. And I know Ryan McCarthy, and I will tell you that he will be reaching out to our great friend here often. He will be asking him questions. He will be dipsticking what's going on within the community. And the big deal right now, because people are what matter, how are we doing with recruiting? Are we out there and are we talking to everyone? This is huge for us. I personally am beside myself because I am so proud and so happy and so thankful that you are my friend, that you are part of my chapter, but more so than that, that you're the newest Civilian Aide Secretary of the Army for Alabama South. And I think Mac Dove's not here, but I have to shout out to Mac because he's a CASA emeritus for the state of Alabama because he served more than 10 years in the position. They're 2-year positions. He stayed a long time, right? Isn't that right, Mayor Bunting? I think so. And we, as the Fort Worker Wiregrass chapter of AUSA, and a lot of our chapter officers are here today, and a lot of great folks that support us, like Adam Hall, Mayor Bunting, Mayor Saliba, we do what we do because you allow us to do so. And we are so thankful to be here. Mike's from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I'm from Louisiana. I don't know where Sandy's from.
Florida.
Florida?
Florida girl.
Are you Sandy?
Yeah, that's right.
It's so nice to meet you. I'll talk to you in a minute. My wife's from Indiana, but we're Alabamians now. And we are Wiregrass residents because of all of you and because of great men like this. So I want to thank you very much. I want to thank you, sir, for signing up for this.
Thank you. It's my honor.
We as a chapter cannot wait to work even more with you.
Looking forward to
To not just grow, that's a little shameless plug, but to help you in your mission to be the greatest CASA that South Alabama has ever had. With that being said, I'm going to propose a toast, and then I'm going to turn it over to the state president of AUSA, Mr. Dave C. Propose a toast to Mr. Mike Schmitz, the newest Civilian Aide Secretary of the Army for Alabama South, an unbelievable human being, a great man, a lover of people, and a lover of the Army, her soldiers, her families, her retirees, and her veterans. And we could not be more thankful that he agreed to do this. Toast.
Go, go, go!
Let's go, go, go. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave C. is the Alabama State President for the Association of the United States Army. He drove down from Huntsville this morning, got jammed up on I-65 with a 16-wheeler accident. Was very nervous he wasn't going to get here on time, but he made it. Long trip, as we all know. My friend, my mentor, an unbelievable human being, and a great soldier, Mr. Dave C.
One thing I've learned very quickly in life is if you're the last speaker, you're holding everybody else up. So mine is certainly going to be a very brief message to you. That is simply on behalf of the Association of the United States Army, and as Mark said, our 200,000 members. We're glad to have the newest CASA here, certainly in Dothan. And looking back on things, when I was researching to fine individuals, whether it had been a Jeff Coleman or a Max Dove or all the others that have served so well here in this area. This is certainly a man of leadership in this community, a man who does what he says he will do, and it doesn't matter what activity he is in. He certainly does it with a passion in all things he approaches. And for me, it became an easy selection of who I wanted to support and to see as the next CASA in this area. So certainly I feel that it's a wonderful team that's assembled with Mark and the chapter and Tanya and all the others that have been building it over the years. Certainly in your leadership, sir, we're going to need and continue to reach out to you as well.
Thank you.
So Mike, we appreciate all that you've done. But more than anything else, he's a soldier, whether he's an airman, whether he's a Coast Guardman, it doesn't matter. This man is a soldier at heart. And to this community, I think he has served you well and will continue to serve us well. To the CASA.
All right, Ray Moore. We're not done yet. Whoa. The mayor of great city of
Dothan, Alabama, Mayor Mark Saliba, sir.
You know, politicians got to talk, right? As I would know.
Yeah, mayor's getting the last word. One of my mentor mayors, the one standing closest to me, said once, he told me two things. One, Saliba, keep it short. The other was, which I took to heart, our greatest resource in our city and our community in this wiregrass are our people. And I can't think of a better time and example as right now, and Mike Schmitz, who is, I heard Senator McCarthy say on several times how important being a representative is to the Army. And so I can't think, you'll notice the logo that's above us that says best or nothing. I think that we have the best representative that we could have, not only as a CASA, but as someone that has served as mayor, served as chairman of the school board, and continues to give day in and day out of his time, of his resources. So on behalf of myself, no paycheck, the city commission, and I want to make it on behalf as the county as well, and the whole Wiregrass community, a key to the city of Dothan, Alabama. Not like you don't already have a few keys.
And Mercedes comes with it, you just have to sign some papers. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Now let's get to work. All right, family.
Congratulations, Mike. We're not losing alcohol.
Thank you all for giving up your time. Robbie, what time is it over there?
It is 9 p.m. here in Ukraine.
Oh, well, you're young. It's all right. It's all right. I love you all. Thank you. See you. Bye.
Congratulations, Michael.
So
proud of you.
See you.
Congratulations. See ya.